Now at 6 and streaming on crossroadstoday.com, a Victoria man is arrested on multiple charges, including human smuggling.
Plus, a location is secured for a mental health facility in Victoria County. Find out when construction will begin.
And top Texas elections officials say federal inspectors cannot be inside polls or where ballots are counted on Election Day.
We are tracking a line of storms that are forming up in North Texas. You can see right about here, it's getting rather heavy. It'll be along I-35 this evening, and it'll be down into our area by midnight tonight. I expect some stormy weather around here early tomorrow morning. We'll be talking about that and a tropical storm in the Atlantic and the Gulf coming up in just a few minutes. Back to you.
And Tapper Scrap 10 makes some noise here in Victoria there last Friday night. I'll tell you more coming up in sports.
You're watching 25 News now at 6. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Don Brubaker.
And I'm Shawna Currie.
A Victoria man was arrested on human smuggling charges. Victoria police arrested 44-year-old Hedilberto Cortez on 6 charges total. He is in the Victoria County Jail in lieu of $105,850 bond. 2 people were arrested in Bay City on drug dealing charges. Bay City police arrested 33-year-old Brittany Mancias and 36-year-old Angel Perales, both of Bay City. During a traffic stop, authorities seized methamphetamine, ecstasy pills, multiple baggies for packages, and 3 digital scales. Authorities said young children were also found in the vehicle. Tomorrow is Election Day. 26 polling locations open at 7 a.m. and close at 7 p.m. in Victoria County. For President of the United States, former President Donald Trump is the Republican nominee, while Vice President Kamala Harris is the Democrat nominee. Harris was in Pennsylvania today, whose 19 electoral votes offer the largest prize among the states expected to determine the Electoral College outcome. Trump was in Raleigh, North Carolina, and stopping twice in Pennsylvania with events in Reading and Pittsburgh. In the race for U.S. Senator, incumbent Ted Cruz faces Democrat Colin Allred. Cruz is running for his 3rd term in the Senate. He was first elected to the Senate in 2013. Allred is the U.S. Congressman for District 32 in Texas. He won the seat in 2018 over 11-term incumbent Pete Sessions. He is a former football player at Baylor and for the NFL's Tennessee Titans.
In the race for U.S. Representative District 27, incumbent Michael Cloud faces Democrat Tanya Lloyd. Lloyd is a 1st-grade teacher from Caldwell County. Lloyd is concerned about education, women's health care, and reproductive rights. Congressman Michael Cloud was elected to Congress in 2018. He serves on the Appropriations Committee, and his initiatives aim to enhance safety and boost economic opportunities for the region. For State Senator District 17, you have incumbent Republican Joan Huffman and Democrat Kathy Chang. Senator Huffman was first elected to the Texas Senate in 2008 and has been re-elected 5 times. She currently serves as chair of 2 Senate committees. Chang was born in Taiwan and lives in Houston now. Chang's career experience includes working as a managing member of Chang and Associates, her own law practice.
In the race for State Representative District 30, former Jackson County Sheriff A.J. Louderback faces Democrat Stephanie Basham. Louderback, a Republican, is a former 5-term sheriff of Jackson County. He won a runoff against former Victoria Mayor Jeff Bucknight for the Republican nomination in May. Basham is a breast cancer survivor. She advocates for universal health care access. In the race for Victoria County Commissioner Precinct 1, you have incumbent Democrat Danny Garcia facing Republican Kenneth Wells. Garcia has been a commissioner for 12 years. He highlights his dedication to the Bloomington community and the wider Victoria County. Wells wants to focus on improving the south side of Victoria County. He says the county budget should reflect what the citizens value.
Several school districts in our area have an item on the ballot as well. The Industrial ISD, the Yoakum ISD, and the Victoria ISD have a voter approval tax rate election, while the Hallettsville ISD has a bond election for a new gym multi-purpose facility. And joining us live in the studio on election night is Woodrow Wilson Wagner III. He's Director of Institutional Strategies at UHB and our political expert on 25 News Now at 10 p.m. Wagner will help us give us some insight as we watch election results come in for local, state, and national races. And here's a look at early voting turnout for 3 counties in our viewing area. In Victoria County, 44% of registered voters showed up for early voting compared to 49% in 2020. That's 25,886 voters. Victoria County has 58,241 registered voters. DeWitt County saw 51% of voters cast a ballot early compared to 28% in 2020. DeWitt County has 11,357 registered voters. 5,828 people showed up for early voting there. And in Calhoun County, 40% of registered voters showed up this year to vote early. That's compared to 24% in 2020. That's a record turnout for early voting in Calhoun County. Calhoun County has 13,234 registered voters. 5,286 have voted early.
We hope you'll join us on election night. Come to crossroadstoday.com for the latest information on all of the races we are covering. And after nearly a year of planning, plans for a county-run mental health facility are starting to take shape. Victoria County was awarded $40 million by the state to build a mental health facility. Victoria County Commissioner Kenneth Sexton says now that the facility location is secure, construction of this new modernized care facility can now begin.
The design right now would be a 60-bed facility, 30 forensic, 30 civil. Forensic meaning people that are been incarcerated. We're hoping to have the have the construction and everything underway by the end of May, 1st of June of next year.
The facility will be located on 10 acres of land along Big Bend Drive near Victoria Regional Airport.
All right, we're expecting some rain and some windy weather. Let's take a first look at your forecast with First Warn Storm Team Chief Meteorologist Mac Perez. Mac.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone. We've got quite a bit of weather to deal with. First of all, we've got a strong cold front right about here. Already in this area of red, they've got tornado watches. Now, the line of thunderstorms associated with it is going to develop farther south, and that will roll into our area tonight after midnight. Tomorrow morning, I expect to see some thunder showers around here. It is election day. The good news is by the afternoon, a lot of that's going to clear out. So we'll be talking about what to expect for your Tuesday, and we'll take a look at the tropics coming up in a moment.
Mac, thank you. Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton is sending Election Day rapid response legal teams to major counties throughout the state. The teams will monitor day of election activity and address litigation arising from the election. Paxton says the Election Day rapid response legal teams will enforce Texas election laws. The Election Day Rapid Response Legal Team will coordinate with the Texas Secretary of State to ensure that all issues are addressed immediately and that Texas elections are fair and secure. In the final days of the U.S. Senate race, Ted Cruz courted Latino voters along the border while Khalid Allred campaigned in his hometown. The Texas Tribune reports both candidates are making their closing arguments at the end of a heated and expensive race which could decide control of the U.S. Senate. Cruz spent the final weekend of his re-election bid campaigning in El Paso and McAllen. Allred used his final days in the campaign trail to mobilize support in his hometown of Dallas.
Millions of people have moved to Texas in recent years. The state has added nearly 2.6 million voters since Senator Ted Cruz was last up for re-election in 2018. Back then, Cruz won by around 200,000 votes. So the big question heading into tomorrow is where will those votes go?
The question that both political parties and their election turnout people are asking are, who are these people? Where do they come from? And which way do they lean, red or blue? Texas is diversifying relatively rapidly. Its Anglo population is declining as a percentage of the total population, and new groups, Hispanic and Asian in particular, are coming in. And both political parties are trying to figure out how to address those new voters
Where the new voters are living may also give some insight. The Houston Chronicle mentions the biggest growth has come in Harris County and along the I-35 corridor, areas that have gone blue in recent elections. This brings us to our viewer poll for today. What time do you plan to vote on Election Day? And it looks like 84% of you have already voted, so you're off the hook for tomorrow.
No surprise with those early voting numbers in Victoria County. I mean, wow.
Absolutely. But we want to hear from you. Continue coming to crossroadstoday.com/vote to participate, and we'll have the latest on 25 News Now after Monday Night Football. Well, Texas is telling federal officials to stay out of its elections. On Friday, the Secretary of State blocked the Justice Department's plan to send poll monitors to 8 Texas counties on Election Day. The DOJ had planned to monitor 86 locations across 27 states to check for federal voting law compliance. This practice began years ago to prevent discrimination, but has been scaled back since a 2013 Supreme Court ruling let states refuse federal monitors. Texas is not alone. Florida and Missouri are also pushing back.
Speaking of the Show Me state, Missouri wants a judge to ban the Justice Department from sending federal poll monitors to voting locations in that state on Tuesday. The lawsuit calls the Justice Department's decision to place poll watchers in St. Louis arbitrary, but officials with the DOJ say these monitors are needed to make sure federal voting rights are complied with on Election Day. A Supreme Court ruling has restricted the department from placing watchers without permission. The DOJ plans to send monitors to 27 states on Tuesday. A Pennsylvania judge ruled that Elon Musk's $1 million a day voter sweepstakes can continue through Tuesday's presidential election. Judge Angelo Follietta ruled Tuesday after Musk's lawyers said the winners are not chosen by chance. Philadelphia District Attorney Larry Krasner called the sweepstakes a scam that violates state election law and asked that it be shut down. Musk's lawyers said that Monday's recipient will come from Arizona and Tuesday's from Michigan.
Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click the notification bell. And also make sure you're following us on social media for the latest election results tomorrow night. But stay with us. Coming up on 25 News Now at 6, a Central Texas wildfire has burned more than 400 acres. It's prompting evacuations.
Also ahead, severe weather threats are in the forecast for large parts of the country heading into Election Day.
From the operating room to the classroom, a former area surgeon is making an impact in a whole new way. Find out how this award-winning teacher at Ganado High School traded scrubs for science.
If I can spread my knowledge and skills as much as I can to all those young people in medical, any type of science, math, I'd be happy.
And why the community can't stop singing his praises. Join anchor Shawna Currie for From Scalpel to Science, a 25 News Now Extra, Thursday night at 10.
Mandatory evacuations are underway in Bastrop County as crews work to contain a 400-acre wildfire named the Hudson Fire. According to the Texas A&M Forest Service, the wildfire began Sunday night 8 miles east of the Bastrop city limits. At least 60 homes were evacuated as a precaution as wind began blowing the fire northward. Governor Abbott has deployed more state resources to support the local crews. The cause of the fire is still under investigation, but this area of Bastrop County is no stranger to wildfires. The Powder Keg Fire burned 117 acres in a similar area of the county in August 2023. And severe weather threats, including tornadoes, damaging winds, and flooding, are in the forecast for large parts of the southern plains and some of the Midwest, with rain forecast for Election Day across several states, two of those being key swing states.
Rain's forecast for here. And this all comes after a weekend of destructive tornadoes in Oklahoma. Left around a dozen people injured and officials working to be sure voters can still get to the polls.
I looked outside and within like 5 seconds, all hell broke loose.
Shane Barker and his dog are among many tornado survivors in Oklahoma City. The National Weather Service says at least 5 twisters, 2 of those powerful EF3 strength, tore through parts of the state overnight Saturday into Sunday. Many residents only had seconds to scramble to safety in the dark, awakened by warnings sent to their cell phones.
I could only see when there was flashes of lightning, like as we were going, but it was just random things like moving.
One of those things was a neighbor's boat, which landed in Katie Anderson's backyard. By the light of day, the full scope of the devastation came into focus. Several homes and businesses flattened or heavily damaged.
It was war zone. The whole roof was just rolled into a burrito, basically.
At least one school lost a good portion of its roof. The state's governor announcing Sunday there's an emergency declaration for 6 counties, and officials are working to ensure all polling places have power ahead of Tuesday's presidential election. There was no relief for the region Monday, with thunderstorm, tornado, wind, and large hail threats persisting from southern Texas up into western Illinois. And through Election Day, the Storm Prediction Center is tracking rainfall between 1 and 3 inches across the central and midwestern U.S., including Wisconsin and Michigan, 2 closely watched swing states. I'm Laura Aguirre reporting.
Well, good evening, everyone. We're at 76 degrees right about now. The winds have been fairly strong all day long. Our high was 84, compares to 78 where we're supposed to be this time of year, and our record at 93. We do have some stormy weather up in North Texas. It's going to be traveling down, visiting us overnight. So I expect stormy weather tomorrow morning. It's Election Day, but you've got a raincoat, an umbrella, all that. Yeah, okay, well, we'll talk about that coming up in just a moment. Well, good evening, everyone. We have a lot of weather to deal with. All of a sudden, we're very active on all fronts. First of all, the first front is up here in the Dallas area. This area in red is a tornado watch. This is part of the storms that came through Oklahoma City last night. Behind that, in the mountains of northern New Mexico, we have a winter storm. They're getting snow up there, believe it or not. Some of that snow may move into Amarillo tonight. So things are very windy over the crossroads because everything's blowing up into this low pressure system. Now, this frontal system is slowly moving toward us, but there's a line of storms ahead of it that is strengthening. And as the line moves closer to our area, it's going to pick up a lot more humidity. As a result, we've got a good chance of getting some stormy weather around here. Now, here's Waco. Here's Jarrell, and there's Austin. So this is pretty much North Texas from the Dallas area. You can see the big thunderstorms there. And of course, the line then stretches down south. Well, that line is going to start moving down, and it should be crossing San Antonio about midnight. After midnight, it'll start moving into the crossroads, and that's when we start looking for this thunderstorm activity. Now, this is thunder and lightning. This is not like the last one, so this is going to be something to watch. Now, here's Future Tracker as we go forward, and there you go. At about 3 o'clock in the morning, we should start hearing the thunder and lightning, and then about 6 o'clock in the morning, we'll have it right on top of us. By about 9 o'clock, the majority of this moves offshore, so there'll be decreasing shower activity. So that early morning time period, if you're going to vote, just have the rain gear handy. In the afternoon hours, I expect a little bit of clearing as that whole thing crosses us and goes out into the Gulf of Mexico for about a day or so. Then it's going to back up as warm air rolls back in. But a very interesting development for us as we are looking for some sort of thunder and lightning overnight as that system comes through basically in the early morning hours. Now, then as we get to Wednesday, Thursday, some strange brew here. We've got a potential hurricane in the Gulf of Mexico, and we got a full-blown snowstorm in the Rockies, all happening at the same time. Let's talk, well, there are your temperatures. With that front, we're looking at 75 for tomorrow, while much of North Texas will be in the 60s as high temperatures. Here's another good one for you. We have a tropical storm. It's called Rafael. It is down in the Caribbean. We've been talking about this potential for about 2 weeks now. It is now a tropical storm, 45-mile-an-hour winds. Here's Jamaica. It's due south. Now watch this. The storm then starts to travel north, goes over the Cayman Islands, becomes a hurricane, strikes Cuba as a Category 2, crosses into the Gulf of Mexico, weakens somewhat, and then here's the big question mark. Where is it going to go once it's in the Gulf of Mexico? I personally believe. Now, this is the track. I personally believe that it'll be somewhere between Panama City and Mobile, Alabama. However, will it get close enough to give us any real impacts? That's the big question mark. We're going to watch it all week. Tomorrow, showers in the morning and a high of 77 down along the coast, 76 in Cuero. And yes, we do have stormy weather early on Election Day, but then clearing in the afternoon, better for Wednesday, Thursday, and then another front comes in on Friday night for a real cool down for the weekend. That's your 7-day forecast, reminding everybody we do have a QR code. Love for you to scan that, put Crossroads Today on your phone. And here's Shawna.
All right, thanks a lot, Mac. Well, now we send it over to Max Williams with a look at what's coming up in sports.
Yeah, Shawna, we have a lot of playoff implications here in the final week of the regular season here of high school football. One of these games between the Shiner Comanches and, again, the Yorktown Wildcats for the district title. I'll highlight this game coming up in sports. All right, Crossroads. So I know we have some playoff volleyball matches here tonight and again for tomorrow. And we had the last week of the regular season high school football. But a huge event was held here in Victoria last Friday. And again, it was sold out there at the Victoria Community Center. This event was Tapper Scrap 10. This is the 10th event that they've held here for this one, and it did not disappoint. Two local Victoria natives competed in last week's competition. First was Jaden Williams, who won via submission there in the first round. Williams is also, if you don't know, is the Victoria Gators head coach as well. And the other Victoria native was Chris Black. He won there in the first round via TKO. Now, one of the fighters in Jaden Williams talked about how his mindset was before getting this massive win there on Friday night.
This guy's trying to take my life when I'm in the cage, and it's kill to be killed, and I'm going out there to kill. And so just when the bell rang, I just saw the look in his eyes that he was coming to fight, and I was coming to fight, and I prayed to God that he gave him the best abilities for tonight and gave me the best abilities for tonight and made the best man win. And tonight I was a better man any given night.
And Williams' killer instinct mindset helped him get the big time win there at Tapper Scrap 10. And again, last Friday, congrats to both of these two competitors for getting big wins there and making Victoria proud. Now from Tapper Scrap there to a big time football match we're going to have this week here with district title implications between the Shiner Comanches and the Yorktown Wildcats. Both these teams head in this matchup two different paths. For Shiner, they're on a 6-game winning streak and they've been dominating each game there. Won last week 70-0. And then for Yorktown, they're kind of looming heading this game. They lost 48-7 to Falls City last week. So again, the stakes are high. If Shiner wins this game, they win the outright District 15 2A Division II title. And for Yorktown, they need a little help. They need to win first, and they need to hope Falls City loses to Pettis there if they want to win the district title for Yorktown. Now, this leads us here to our viewer poll. I asked here, we have 4 district championship games happening this week for the final week of the regular season. Here's what I thought. Which district title game are you looking forward to here in week 11? Again, we have Calhoun versus Bay City, Shiner versus Yorktown, Three Rivers versus Refugio, and Tidehaven versus East Bernard. And a lot of you are choosing their Calhoun versus Bay City right now to be the chosen one. You got Three Rivers Refugio. That's a big matchup, one of the toughest tests for Refugio yet. So we're going to see here which game is going to live up to the hype for sure. Now over to the NFL. Dak Prescott suffered a hamstring injury there versus the Falcons there yesterday. And Prescott is expected to miss multiple weeks and probably won't be back to the last week of the regular season towards the playoffs for the Cowboys. And the Cowboys, they can't afford losing more star players because they also lost CeeDee Lamb in that game yesterday as well to a shoulder injury. Do not know the extent of the injury, how long he would be out. And the Cowboys, they're 3-5 right now, and they need to get rolling because they're in 3rd place in the NFC East and expect Cooper Rush, the backup, to get the start versus the Eagles this upcoming Sunday. And then again, now tough news there if you're Cowboys fans. A little bit more exciting news. Again, UIL Volleyball Championships start here tonight. We have a couple by-district games here going on right now here. We got Goliad playing Yoakum. Goliad is up 2-0 right now. They're in the first round of the playoffs. They're playing at Quero High School. Again, another game that's playing too. Victoria West is playing at Warden Junior Community College versus Springwoods High School. Again, we're going to show those two games, and we'll show a couple more here tonight when we get the full highlights here for 25 News Now Sports at 10 p.m. That's going to do it here for sports. Don and Shawna, back to you.
Thank you, Max. We're back in a moment. A mural is painted in Los Angeles to honor a Dodgers icon. World Series winning Dodgers continued in Los Angeles over the weekend. Part of that was the unveiling of a large mural honoring late player and announcer Fernando Valenzuela. He died at 63 years old last month. Robert Vargas started painting the mural the day that happened. And then Friday, the World Series victory parade fell on Valenzuela's birthday.
Wow, that's incredible artwork.
And he was an icon. How he came out of nowhere from nowhere in Mexico. I mean, nowhere in Mexico, and he became a star overnight. Simply amazing.
And the close-ups of when he used to pitch, he would always look up to heaven, and then he'd pitch. It's just crazy.
Are we getting a storm from nowhere, or
well,
somewhere?
no, we know where this is coming from. It's in Waco right about now. We've got a line of storms that's going to be rolling down and moving into our area after midnight. I think by sunrise you'll hear a little thunder and lightning out there, and we may have some stormy weather for tomorrow morning. Now it's election day. Grab your rain gear and have it handy. Hopefully they'll put people indoors, but on the way over there you may encounter some showers.
All right, thank you, Mac. Thanks for joining us.
We'll see you back here tonight after Monday Night Football.